All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? Back again. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment with this Knicks talk. I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. But we're back at it. Potential Knicks trades. Usually when we do this thing, and y'all pardon my COVID beard, right? I'm not COVID. I'm sorry. I don't want to say COVID. I don't want to give COVID credit for nothing. Pardon my quarantine beard. Sometimes it's the wave, and sometimes it's not. Today is one of those days where the beard is mightier than the comb. Let's just put it that way. I don't know if y'all go through those waves and that, but some days the beard is mightier than the comb. That's what we're dealing with right now. So I jumped on. Yo, what's up, Rick? And what's up, Rick? Hey, what's up, Art? Hey, y'all want to come through? Y'all want to jump on? Y'all want to join? Y'all want me to send an invite? No? Okay, whatever. Ew! Okay. All right, it's cool. It's cool. I'm just saying, dog, you know the invite, it's a standing invite. You know what I'm saying? It's not, the occasional, like whenever I feel like it. I ain't wishy-washy like that. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, y'all always bring something dope to the table. Yo. So, yeah, y'all laughing at my beard, man? Hey, man, I can't help it. My beard is like, sometimes it's the wave and sometimes it's not. It's just whatever. You know what I mean? Hey, Rick. Hey, I'm warning you right now. I'm thinking mad crazy. You see the title of the show? Y'all see the title of the show, right? I'm telling you. You know how people be like, you know what I'm saying, when your intellect and maybe your finances and your swag all line up, it's like you in your bag. I'm the complete opposite right now. I'm the complete opposite. You know, like when you're as smart as you can be, you're as relevant as you can be. You know what I'm saying? Your finances are all lined up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get it. Everybody gets you, whatever. And how you just be in your bag for like that moment. I'm the complete opposite right now, dog. It's Friday night, and I done heard some BS Knicks rumors, and I'm about to address them right now. I'm the complete opposite. I'm not in my bag right now. I'm not. So anyway, before I get completely into this Knicks stuff, I just want to tell a story right quick. I saw one of my homeboys in one of them box stores. You know what I'm saying? And we reminisced about something that happened, and it's funny actually. So where I live, we're kind of devoid of sports. We have a baseball team, like I think it's like super low A baseball. I think it's the Florence Red Wolves, whatever they're called, right? Back in the day, though, we used to have a hockey team that was super low A, but we used to support the hell out that hockey team, right? So it was the PD Pride, right? So the PD Pride is the name of the hockey team, right? Hey, thanks, Go Blue, for the tip. I appreciate that. Man. That go a long way. You know what I'm saying? For helping keeping the lights on or whatever. What's up, Mike? Oh, yo, look who here. Oh hell. Mike Nieves Mike is in the building. I know stuff is about to get haywire. Yo, Mike, I'm gonna finish telling this story right quick. And yo, shout out to Mike, man. Y'all show some love for Mike in the chat, man. Say what's up, whatever. But I'm gonna finish this PD Pride story, and then I'm gonna move on to the Knicks. So anyway, we had this low A hockey team, right? And we supported the hell out of it, right? The best we could. We didn't have anything else in our area to support, you know what I mean? So we used to always go to the hockey game. I think I used to make like Thursday nights and Saturday nights, unless it was on the road. Yo, look who in the building, my man! Yo, my man Viv is in the building. Good shot. Yo, that just made my night right there. What up, Viv? Yo, hey, everybody in the chat, say what's up. Say what's up to the homie Viv. Yo, Viv probably forgot more about the Knicks that most of us know or ever will know, probably put together. That's my dog right there. You know what I'm saying? For the record, you know, always like the most level-headed Knicks cat that I know. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's my guy right there. I think I was on Sim Russell's show, Nothing But Knicks, a couple of times with Viv, and stuff be getting haywire, and my man always hit you up with facts. You know what I'm saying? He always hit you up with facts. Like y'all be like cats be like, you know, we didn't keep Starks because Starks was trash. And my man would be like, yo, nah, man. Starks might have been trash, but at least Viv will come with data. You know what I'm saying? Data to support his points or whatever. And y'all go out and support Viv on all his hey Mike, I'm gonna get into that. Hold on. Let me tell my story, Mike. I'm gonna get to it. So anyway, so we had this hockey team in our area, right? The PD Pride. So we go through this thing where we win some championships or whatever. It was like a weird time. It's like 95. We win some championships or whatever. But then ownership is like started like skipping back on money. We're like, yo, why we let such and such walk in free agent? Why we didn't sign him back? The owner didn't have no money. And you're like, oh. So anyway, we get to a point now where we go from being like who could I compare us to? So we go from being like just think about whatever franchise that always didn't have money and was small. We were like the Minnesota Twins of the 80s, basically, like a low budget but always competitive, right? So anyway, all of a sudden that strategy doesn't work anymore because the teams around us started growing. Like Charleston's team got better, Charlotte's team got better, Columbia's team got better, and they were spending money, and we were spending at the same rate we normally spend, right? So now we can't get talent like we used to because teams were outbidding us. But our fan base was passionate. And I'm talking about cats like me, just regular Joe Blows, not I'm sure like the well-to-do people were there too. But I'm talking about cats like, just imagine you and all y'all co-workers, all y'all talked about on Tuesday afternoon about 2:00 was the conversation was, yo, I can't wait to get off because we got to go check out the Pride game, right? So anyway, this one year we were in last place, right? And we're not even competitive, right? So we're not even competitive. We're just, one of those situations where we couldn't keep the guys that got us to the playoffs 2 years ago. Now we're just like getting anybody that can play, right? So we play against Charleston. Charleston has signed two of the best guys that in our league. They signed them outright. They just had more money, and so they just signed the guys, right? So they come to so we played them in Charleston, and a few of us went to Charleston, right? And so when we in Charleston, right, these dudes is trying to shine on us, right? So they jump out. So it's the first period. And so they jump out. So it's the first pitch. They jump out to a 4-0 lead, right? It's 4-0, right? So they shining on us. You know what I'm saying? They putting in like they 11th man, 12th man, 13th man. They putting out their kids, like dudes 18, 19 years old. And they get out there and their kids is out there checking us in the boards and hurting up our guys. And we like, y'all hurting our best players? We ain't even no good. And y'all coming out here trying to hurt our best players? Y'all checking our best players into the glass. And so what happens is our players that get near the glass and they're like just steamroll our best players into the boards. And like, so every time you hear it, the glass goes, everybody in the lower arena, you know, these places sit like 5,000, 4,000 people or whatever. Charleston got like 3,500 people there, and it's like 500 of us. So it's damn near packed, right? So, I mean, they just blistering us, right? So I'm mad. I throw and no lie, I don't waste beer. So I drink my beer and I slam that empty cup on the ground. And usually I keep the cups, you know what I'm saying? Because they usually have like the team name on it. You know what I'm talking about when you go to these games, the team name and the schedule on it and all that BS, whatever. So I slam my cup on the ground. I'm mad, right? Mocha, that's my wife. She like, Uncle Freezy, calm down, man. It's just a game. And I'm like, it ain't just a game. I hate Charleston because it was our rival. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, Mike, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Mike? So anyway, and I promise you I'm going to get to the Knicks trade stuff. I just want to tell the story. So I slam my cup down, man. I'm mad. And so the crowd, the contingent that rolled down to Charleston with us, we mad. We like, we going to cut their ass when they come to Florence Saturday. That's for sure. We're going to tell all our homies what happened down here in Charleston. So anyway, yes, man, Uncle Freezy. Same thing you call me, Art. It's not interrupting my story. So anyway, it's like, so Saturday come, the game is like at 7:30. You know what I'm saying? We outside in the parking lot tailgating. We mad, right? We hype. So about 3:00, the Charleston bus show up, right? so the Charleston bus show up. We mad, we run into the Charleston bus and we throwing our koozies and all kinds of, what I'm saying, stuff to it. So anyway, they get off the bus and I'm like, okay. So at the time, Uncle Freezy was like 6'5", like 400 and something pounds, right? Big dude, big, right? So I'm like, y'all. And then these dudes got the bus. I'm like, hey, these motherfuckers big as hell in real life. So I stepped back. I'm like, that's why they was killing us in Charleston. So now I'm like, oh, these dudes might do, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, we get back to the grill. Listen, Bud Light and hot dogs and ribs and all that stuff. So anyway, fast forward to the game. I'm like, I swear, I'm like 19 beers in. I don't want to say 20 beers because it makes me sound like an alcoholic. So I'm just gonna say 19 plus, right? So everybody is amped, and so Charleston comes out. They win the face off and light the lamp. Anybody know what hockey is? You know how embarrassing that is. They get the face off, right? They win the face off, go straight down, and light the lamp. Just juke the goalie out there. We're like, oh, right? So anyway, it's the third period. We down like 11-0 to Charleston, right? They just outclassing us. And so they hit our best player that's left. The dude that got hurt in Charleston not playing. So we signed the dudes off the street and they hurt a guy that came to the restaurant and ate dinner with us. You know what I'm saying? He like, even though he was an athlete, he came and ate dinner with us. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up, Kitty Kathy 55? What's going on? So he come in, so we automatically just get attached to him, right? In like just 4 or 5 days, right? So, we like, man, this dude's so cool. We need to sign him back because he like salt of the earth. You know what I'm saying? He a grinder. He had been just hanging on. So he was just about to get a real job, except he at the last minute he get these called by hockey teams to come play, right? So the third period, he coming down the boards, and like two of they dudes just hollow him, right? And everybody there just go crazy. And the DJ when it's fight time, the DJ usually play this joint, whatever. All in all, is just another brick in the wall is what he usually play, right? But this time, he plays a different joint. He plays this song by Usher called "Yeah." Just came out. We had just heard the song. The song had been out like 2 weeks. He played. All you hear is "Peace Up, A-Town Down," and I hand to the man. I don't lie about sports or whatever. The Civic Center goes crazy. All my coworkers from work, crazy. My sons and them that was in the building, crazy. Our goalie skates down to the other goalie as fast as he can, like ripping off his stuff, right? And so he gets to the other goalie, and the goalie see him coming, right? I mean, damn, you know how far that is to skate, right? So the other goalie see him coming. He like throws a haymaker at our goalie and miss, right? And our goalie slides and uppercut the hell out of his ass. Bam! Right? And we see that, and everybody fighting, dog. I'm talking about dudes. Charleston is fighting us, our team on the ice. Our fans is fighting them in the stands. Our kids is trying to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? The Florence kids and the Charleston kids. And we like, you know what? I guarantee you, if we don't win this game, we damn sure gonna win the fight. You know what I'm saying? And security running around like, no, break it up, all this stuff. So they finally dragging people off the ice. Security trying to throwing people out the Civic Center, directing other people to their seat. And so we wind up winning the fight with Charleston, right? Charleston is like, blah, 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 blah. So at the end of the game, all it is scrubs on the ice. Everybody that was participating in the fight get kicked out of the game. So the scrubs is left, on both sides. So we down like 14-0, and it's like 3 minutes left. And so this guy who hadn't scored, he had been on the team for like 4 seasons. He had never scored. He breaks the defense and lights the lamp. And the DJ, right on cue, plays "Yeah." So you hear it like, "Peace up, A-Town Down." And so we start celebrating, man. And even though Charleston kicked our ass, probably on the ice and in the stands, it's one of the best moments that I remember in sports, because that feeling of, you finally coming through and you finally have something good happen to your team or whatever. And even though we got our ass cut on the ice and maybe in the stands too, we finally had something good to happen to us. But anyway, I just want to share that with y'all. I generally don't tell like the stories like that, when I get here, because they be long as hell or whatever. But I met one of my homeboys from back in the day, in the store, and he was like, "Yo, you remember that?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I remember that." So anyway, on to my Knicks, right? So Mike says, "Try being a Met fan. The good times are few and far between." Mike, I am a Mets fan. I've been a Mets fan since like 1970, and I'm talking about hardcore. I'm not talking about the primary years when you go to the game and you just rooting because, you know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, I've been a Mets fan since like 70 something. You know what I'm saying? But I've probably been a Mets fan. I'm talking about like following every move probably since like 76. So it's probably like 1976, 77. All right. Come on, dog. Come on, man. Ain't nothing wrong with being a grandpa, man. But I'm Uncle Freezy. Hey, let me do something real quick. Let me do something here. All right. I just want to do that real quick. All right. So I jumped on a Friday night because I heard about the potential Knicks rumors and trades. So one, I check my phone. Listen, man. In case I don't know, man, I love it. Yo, look who's here. What's up, dog?
What's going on, Freezy? I got a couple of minutes. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. I wanted to have you on, man, because for one, I know no matter how the Knicks stuff ebbs and flows, I know you're gonna bring facts to the table.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of our emotional highs and lows, I just wanted to extend the invitation to you for one, so that the cats that follow me can follow you on all the stuff that you do, and also so that these arguments that generally like how we get out of hand on Knicks Twitter, so we can bring some reasonable thought to some of the stuff on Knicks Twitter. Okay. So let me start by asking you this: how do you feel about the Knicks trading for Russell Westbrook and the package that's out there that we may give up to get him?
All right, so I haven't followed all the packages, to be quite honest.
Okay.
But in my honest opinion, I'm not for it, and the reasons I have are mainly, I mean, he's 30. This is his age 32 season, probably 33, knowing whenever the season starts, right? And he has how many years left? Like he has 1, 2, I think 3 seasons left, somewhere around there.
What you mean on contract or peak?
Yeah,
performance?
contract.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like 3 seasons left, like $120 million, right?
Right.
So the problem with Westbrook is this, right? So you bring someone like Westbrook there, you're already gonna become, like a 37 to 30, like a 40 win team. So you're stuck in no man's land, and you kind of have to get so much better, but you're already committing $40 million to Westbrook, right? So, there's only so many limited options to get better with that. Second off, the real problem then is now, okay, you put someone like Westbrook on there from a talent perspective. You need to surround him with shooters. I mean, Houston tried that with with their like basically no center lineup, but there's a lot of limitations there, right? You're gonna get torched on the glass, and you'll just get torched in many different methods. And let's just assume that there's no we're not giving up much except for absorbing the contract, right?
Right.
So that's basically like no assets, just minimal stuff. We send one guy over, some guy, I don't know, whoever it is, right? And we just take on Westbrook. You can't pairing Westbrook and RJ Barrett together is probably that's a terrible pairing. Right. First off, you got 2 guards that can't shoot. I mean, not yet, right? Like Barrett's still got a ways to go. Westbrook, we know who he is. He's not going to shoot. Westbrook's not going to have the same freedoms he had in OKC and Houston, in the sense that Houston, he was able to get away with the fact that he had a lot of shooters. So, even though he struggled a lot from, he didn't struggle. He actually had his best season from a shooting percentage. But what happened was that once the playoffs hit, they just basically said, all right, I dare you to shoot. And, we saw what he saw, right? So he was just bricking a lot of shots. That's going to be amplified even more in New York, where, you're going to see a whole lot of tightened lanes to drive. And what happens is you do that, and, Barrett's not going to develop the way you want to develop, because he obviously, you just put a no spacing lineup out there. It's not good for anybody. And that's not good for someone like, I don't know. I mean, that has a domino effect on your other players. I just think the pairing is look, I like Russell Westbrook. I loved him as a player. I loved him during the Thunder days. I love his, I loved his passion. You need someone with that type of, tenacity and heart. I just think at this stage in his career, I don't think the Knicks and Westbrook are the right fit. And I think that the Knicks have better options to go with rather than trying to commit that much money to someone like Westbrook, where the ceiling is not that high. Second thing is forget it from a the talent and fit perspective, but obviously the real issue is that you're not getting anything enticing for taking on that money, because Houston has no assets. They have nobody they can give you. They have no picks. So, what are you getting from Houston? You should be able to get some sort of asset for taking his contract. You can't, right? So, you're basically just taking him on, getting no reward from it, and it just doesn't make sense to bail out Houston when they are so desperate to get rid of him.
Okay.
That's my honest opinion. Really, he's age 33, seasoned guy who's relying on his athleticism. You just know that it's going to be any season now. So it's similar as the guy like CP3. It's going to be one injury. You never know with these type of players. It's if one injury can just set him back forever. And if Russell Westbrook's not playing and he's making $43 million, like damn, that is really that's really rough.
That's basically about close to 40% of your cap, maybe 38% of your cap tied up in a guy at that age and is injured. So what about the way that Tom Thibodeau used Derrick Rose in his formidable years when D Rose didn't have a consistent jump shot, or didn't have a willingness to take it, where Westbrook is right now?
That's a good question, Freezy. So that era, he really only had about a season and a half, and I'm gonna say season and a half because, he had the full MVP season plus probably half of the lockout year, and even then, he was like out due to injuries or whatever for most of that season. It was a different era. I hate to say it, but it's Tibbs was able to not get away, but it was not as 3-point centric, and there was a lot more post up game. There was a lot more isolation heavy basketball. So a lot of the defensive systems that you saw that Tibbs tried to utilize, that came from the Boston days too, and the Houston days. Like the ice in the pick and roll, drop coverage, which is basically like, all right, I'm just gonna like drop all the way into the paint because you just knew someone like LeBron or any of them, they're just gonna drive into the paint, and you can just like pack the paint. Like I would just say, like in general, I think I went off topic I went off topic for a second, but like I just think like the spacing is kind of like is much different now, and I just don't think that it would be very hard to thrive without having some sort of semblance of a perimeter game.
Right.
And Westbrook just does not have that perimeter game, and he hasn't yet evolved. He hasn't evolved. In fact, I think his best season may have been that like the first triple double season, which was I think the year after Durant left, where he had he made like 2 threes a game, and then ever since then it just basically dropped all the way down to to barely less than a 3 game or whatever. So I think it'll be very hard because you just need the spacing. Otherwise, the teams like defenses are just not going to take Westbrook seriously, and if they don't take Westbrook seriously, that means the other 4 guys in the lineup will not be taken seriously either. Picture this, right? Picture a 5-man lineup with Westbrook, Julius Randle, a guy who also can't really shoot that many threes. Say Mitchell Robinson's in there, who doesn't really have a shot beyond a foot, right? To be quite honest, ignore all the practice videos. He doesn't have a game shot beyond 1 or 2 feet.
He's not proven, right?
Yeah, and RJ Barrett. Look, he may improve his shot, but it might still take a year or so, right? And who's your small forward, whoever that guy is. It's just a packed paint, and no one will be able to operate with any sort of cohesion. It'll just make life harder for everybody.
Right.
That's just where I see it.
So I have a different take on it, and it's not pro Westbrook 3-point shooting. It's more pro Westbrook shot creation. I think if you add Westbrook to the Knicks, you're not going to get anything above, say, 30% from the 3-point line from Russell Westbrook, right? And that's terrible from a point guard. You know what I'm saying? It may be high 20s, maybe something like that, right? But I think from a shot creation standpoint, I think Russell Westbrook, even at his advanced age, is still a guy that can get you 8 or 9 assists a game, can still, get you, tough shots. And when he's Brody, now he is like top 10 NBA player. You know what I'm saying? And I think what that does is this. So in a deal where we get a Russell Westbrook, we'll probably have to the trade scenario I saw was Julius Randle, Kevin Knox, Bobby Portis, and Reggie Bullock for Westbrook, and it's just because just so that they can get out from some of that salary cap hell that they're in by. But anyway, what they do with Portis and them, I don't even care. What I care about is Westbrook's shot creation, getting R.J. Barrett easier shots, getting Mitchell Robinson easier shots, and also bringing that alpha type mentality to a bunch of guys that have been really beta over the last, say, all the way back to, say, Carmelo Anthony's last couple of years in New York, where we've been, mighty passive with guys with Courtney Lee and things like that. What I would say also is when you bring in a Russell Westbrook, then you also bring in, at least kick the tires on Christian Wood, Davis Bertans, and the names that we've all been hearing throughout the offseason. So I think his shot, the fact that he can create shots for others and get others easier looks outweighs the terrible 3-point shooting that he'll bring to the table.
So you make some good points. There's valid points there where, shot creation is undeniable in a sense. Russell Westbrook would be probably the best guard scoring threat the Knicks may have ever had. Since
from
I don't
point
know
guard,
when.
definitely.
Huh?
At the point guard position.
Yeah, I'm thinking like ever, right? I'm really thinking
right.
he'd probably be the best offensive point guard the Knicks probably ever had. And I mean, maybe Clyde if we want to go there, but I mean, I don't think. I mean, obviously not as Clyde was never as explosive offensively as Russell Westbrook has been. You make a point there. I think the key to that is in order for him to create, and get those 8 to 9 assists, you need to have the people who can make baskets, and you need to have the spacing that will allow him to operate within those lanes to score and to pass and to create. So the key is in order to get those lanes. There's a lot of. You just need people to space the floor, and in order to, if the Knicks were to ever find someone to, space the floor, then I could see it. I just don't know if the Knicks can pull it off, and I think from a trade perspective, I don't even think Randall and them. I think they would probably make them just staying. I think the Knicks can just simply absorb it if they, it would be that type of deal, but. Because the Knicks don't really have any contracts outside of Barrett that extend past next year. So they may not even, it might just be a straight absorption. But again, you need spacers. And it's very, I just see the fit being very tough and just all the factors involved. I think, I don't know. I think there has to be some sort of better way. And look, this is the same argument I have for CP3 too. And it's, again, CP3, my main issue is I think the contract, and I think, he's a walking injury at risk. And, I have the same argument. But the winning thing's a legit thing. It's something that the Knicks need. They need people to kind of they need to set an example for what it feels like to be on a team that'll win games. Right. And it's more than, it has to come more like from an organizational standpoint. Like if you look at like everyone mentions the Heat, right? So the Heat winning mentality really began once Riley stepped foot in Miami. And he's like, all right, you guys are just like taking things way too lightly in practice, this, that, shoot arounds are just like a joke. everything changed within this months, right? So, and you've seen that 25 years later, and you've seen it. Even they may not win a lot they may be in the lottery certain years, right? But there's still a standard of excellence that set foot in Miami, and that was set by Riley, that was set by Alonzo Mourning. They set that winning mindset. So yeah, I think in order for the Tibbs era to succeed, in the Tibbs reign to succeed, he needs to find a way to develop that winning mindset. And Russ, whether you like him or not, he has he's won a lot of games, but again, you have to, that mentality has to exist, during Russ, like whoever is there, right? Whether Russ is here, Russ is not here, whether he's, whatever the situation is. So,
right.
I completely get your arguments. I think the Knicks will probably steer away, in my honest opinion. But then again, you never know. But I that's just where I'm heading.
Right. So I don't know what the plan A is for the Knicks at point guard, or the direction of so I don't know what their plan is or what level of veteran they look to bring in. But based off of what have been the needs historically, you would think Westbrook would be at least on the radar, based on him being a veteran, being able to play at a high level, him bringing a winning mentality to a team, him being able to do multiple things, not being one-dimensional at a position. A man actually averaged a triple-double. I think he did it twice. You know what I mean? So he also has played in big-time, high-leverage games. Unlike, to me, I don't know how many high-leverage games CP3 has played in, right? Like how many Western Conference Finals, and and how many game situations he's played in. But I know Westbrook seems to have played in a number, and I would like to at least know that the Knicks are considering bringing in somebody that wants to win at all costs. If we look at what the alternatives would be, say a CP3, I would probably prefer Westbrook over Chris Paul, just because I know Westbrook is going to bring a certain level of play every night, and he's younger. And I think age probably has something to do, has some level of influence on the decision that you look to make. I just can't see Leon Rose going into the first season of his being the Knicks head coach with a rookie at point guard. I don't know if a 62-year-old guy will have the patience to teach a rookie point guard how to play, and be patient with him for, say, 3 or 4 years until he gets it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. There's not really any other alternates to point guard. If you look at the free agency market, if you look at, there's only really two options, in my honest opinion. I think it's you just try to figure out what you can get out of your point guard duo or trio or whatever we want to call it, or you try to do a home run. And I don't think it's going to be hard to get the free agents. Say what you want about a guy like Fred VanVleet or even Dragic. Dragic's also 34, 35 years old, so I'm a bit weary about someone that old too.
Right.
But I don't know what the Knicks are trying to do. It's because, again, I think it's just because the way this with COVID and everything, I don't know, who knows when the season's going to start, and I don't know, who's going to be the right guy. It's very up in the air, in my opinion.
Right. And so the point guards that are on the radar, right? CP3, who's not a free agent, Russell Westbrook is not a free agent, Dragic is. So those guys are still at that age that we're weary. And Dragic has not proven to anybody that he can play 20, 30, 40 games in a row at that high level. Basically, what we get from Dragic is, we get like the 5-6 game stretches, and either he's injured or cold. And I don't know if you want to, bring that. I don't know if Knicks fans will have the patience with Dragic to go through, say, the injuries or his. And I don't want to say cold. I'll say it's either he's really good or he's not showing up at all. Like he's vanilla ice cream, so to speak. I don't remember ever seeing him be cold. But sometimes you go through a stretch where he's a non-factor, I guess is the better way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He hasn't been in the playoffs a lot, but I mean, I think only the last few seasons were when he actually got hurt. But again, we're talking about a guy who's like a 34-year-old player starting next season. We're talking about a guy who's maybe 35. We're also talking about someone who's, you gotta be careful about the Miami effect, because the Miami effect is when people that are like role players look a lot better just because they're in Miami, right? They just find a way to make players look a lot better than they probably really are. So if you deflate someone like Dragic, again, I mean, he might be okay, but you may also get Jose Calderon too, right? So
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You just want to be careful. You want to be careful. Yeah, I just don't know. I think the Knicks are in a weird spot. I saw in the comments. Yeah, Dragic was good. He was good. I'm just saying he's older now, right? So that's the only difference now. I don't know. I mean, I think the problem the Knicks had last year was that they just tried to bring in I think what the Knicks really needed last year is just someone to be like a true veteran rather than someone like an Elfrid Payton who wasn't really a veteran. But rather was someone on a reclamation deal, like trying to reprove himself a little bit. And when you have someone that's on a reclamation deal, what ends up happening is that you don't get a full sense of development, either for the young point guard. So I think Frank and DSJ really missed having a true mentor as a point guard, and I think they could have really used someone. I don't think Elfrid's a guy. I think someone like Dragic could be a mentor, but I think he'll be too expensive, and I don't think he's worth the price. CP3 would have been a perfect mentor, but again, the price tag attached to CP3, it's just going to be too much. So I think the Knicks are in a weird spot. They're in a very, very weird spot.
So I had a ridiculous idea, and I know this is ridiculous. I'm at the age now where I know some of the stuff that I say or think may not be on par with what everybody else is thinking. So I'm okay being out in left field, but I want to run this by you and see what you think. So I think if you trade for Chris Paul, I think you have to sign Fred VanVleet. I think the only way I need Fred VanVleet is if I have Chris Paul, and the only way I need, am okay with having Chris Paul is if I have a Fred VanVleet. And the reason why I suggest that is because I need Chris Paul to have help in the backcourt at a high enough level where he can stay healthy 82 games. And I don't think Fred VanVleet, even though his numbers and his play is spectacular at times, I don't think he can do it full time. So I think I have to have both at the same time to kind of balance out what both players would bring to the organization. Sounds crazy, right? Like, why do you need two full-time point guards? And they're both 6 foot tall.
Yeah, right? I don't know. I think what would you give Fred VanVleet?
Okay. So I don't buy into him being a full-time starter at point guard. So I'm definitely offering something sub 20. And I know that may take me out of the running, but I think my high water mark for him in a contract is maybe 19 and a half, 20 mil. And I know that at the beginning of the season, that sounded like a lot, but the closer we get to free agency, I think that number is going to be higher than 20 mil because of what teams are offering.
Yeah, that's like 60. And who's going on a CP3 trade?
Mm. So I want to clear the backcourt, the point guard glut. So Frank and DSJ should go. I would include Knox, Randall, Portis, Ellington. Um, I would include, the player option guys, Knox, Frank, and DSJ, and not all of those guys, but all of them would be available in that deal, especially the 2 point guards. Because what I don't want to have is a muddy backcourt. I don't want to have Frank has to get minutes with Chris Paul and Fred VanVleet being here. I don't want a situation like that.
Yeah, I just think the idea of like $60 million on the point guard spot plus, the additional $20 million for Randall leaves you at 80, which leaves you like around 30 million to like figure out the rest of the roster.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't commit 60 to 2 point guards, and I probably wouldn't. See, the problem is there, right? Then you have to build a playoff team with that, and then it's gonna be nearly impossible to do it. Just hard. I think it's just there has to be a better way for roster allocation.
Right.
And I don't know if I probably wouldn't I wouldn't advocate for that. Also, I think Fred VanVleet's gonna get more than he'll get around like 21, 22.
Yeah, he'll command more, definitely.
I wouldn't give it to someone if it's gonna be a platoon. Like if you're gonna give him 22, then you might as well start him.
Right. Well, my goal is to start them together and RJ at the 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know if the two sub 6 foot guards. I think that's a recipe for a lot of trouble.
Well, Toronto won a championship with that.
They did, although if I remember correctly, Fred VanVleet, did he come off the bench that year?
I'm not for sure, and I use that as an example, even though I know it's an anomaly. It's an anomaly because they had Kawhi Leonard, right? So and we didn't know that Pascal Siakam was going to be that good at the time. So they had a bunch of things happen in their favor. But I just used it as an example to say, teams have done it before. And $60 million backcourt. So Washington has one, Golden State has one. I think Portland may be close. I don't.
No, but again, those are guard. That's committing to both the guard positions. I just don't see. I don't see Fred being I don't think he's a full time 2. I think he's too short to be a full time 2. That's why when I say 60 million to be point guards, that's different than when Washington has like 60 mil or 70 mil to both the 1 and the 2.
Right.
So same with Portland, same with Golden State. So I'm not too high on that. I think it's either one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been asked repeatedly this one question, and then I'll ask you this, and then just to get your opinion on it. So in terms of young core, do you think that the Knicks have a comparable young core to the non-playoff teams in the East? So your Atlantas, your Charlottes, your who else? The Atlanta, Charlotte, Chicago, Cleveland.
Yeah, Atlanta, Chicago, Charlotte, Cleveland. I would put them above Charlotte. I'm not crazy on Charlotte. Cleveland, I'm not crazy on them either. So yeah. Chicago's a mess. Yeah, I would say comparable. It depends on what Trae Young is kind of taking the conversation to a different level. So I think, obviously the Knicks have to get up there. Having an all-star guard, if Barrett could be that guy, that would put him in the conversation, in my opinion. Now, to be clear, with these non-playoff teams, just because you're, that doesn't mean that these teams are significantly flawed or not significantly flawed, right? So,
right.
Obviously, like the Hawks, their biggest problem is they can't really defend anybody, and really the Knicks couldn't either. So, that's why I think it's not. It's close. I just think. I think we're probably a step below the Hawks just because of of Trae. And I think I think that's bad in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Hey, so can you hang around for a little bit, or you gotta go?
Nah, I gotta head out in a couple, man.
Okay.
It's getting a little
All right.
late.
Hey, well, listen. I just wanted to thank you for coming on, man. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
and the other thing too is that stuff that I say about you on Twitter is real love. It ain't like just capping. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing a reasonable take to all things Knicks, because I know sometimes we get out of whack. I appreciate you coming on, boss.
Yeah, no doubt. We just got to keep it real sometimes, right? So
Yeah. Because hey, man, sometimes
you can't just be yelling at each other, right? Just like, man, don't do this, don't do, you do that too often, right?
Right.
Sometimes you gotta think about it, like in multiple different perspectives, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's always good to hear. It's always good to hear different thoughts, and then like try to understand. Okay, where are you coming from with this thought, right? Before completely, like rather than shutting someone down, just understand where they're coming from a little bit, right? So
right.
I appreciate it. You're doing something good with this stuff, right? So you got a nice group of support of people, especially now logged on. It's like midnight, right? I mean, how many people you get? Anyone who comes on after midnight, it's like that's a blessing, right?
Right. So, well,
they really dedicated to you, right? So
yeah, man, yeah, and me to them, It's I'm a representative of the Knicks Twitter litter. I'm in that litter of puppies on Knicks Twitter. So
man, listen, I hate that word Knicks Twitter. Listen, you're just a Knicks fan, man. You just use that platform to you just want to express your thoughts, right?
Right.
Like look at like think about it this way, right? I was doing this. I've been on Twitter for years, man. I was on Twitter since I was like, I think I had to go on for I had to log on for the first time or create an account, I think for a college class or something.
Right.
So this is like 2008, 2009, and that was around the time people was using Twitter for like, trying to get just telling people random things like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like I'm in the library. I'm like I'm here and there. But there was a second, around like 2009, 2010 or whatever. Then you started getting like, oh, you can kind of like bother like cable companies. They not like, if my cable's out or this and that, or if you have some issue with the product, you can just go after them. And, that's when like the sports stuff started getting real, right? So then you started seeing some of these Knicks digital people kind of like, starting to make their waves a little bit. But it didn't really pop off until like crazy enough, like 2016, 2017 or so.
Right.
And, I think somehow, some way, obviously, Sim was a big part of it. But then, there's a whole push to like, once you realize like, listen, people covering this team is doing a terrible job at it, or not, maybe not terrible job, but we don't like their coverage. Let's, cover the team the way we think the team should be covered. Right. So, that's where we created this whole wave of different people, whether it's Sim, whether it's you, whether, whoever it is, right? That's where we kind of got this wave where we're just fans that we want to express our thoughts on the team the way other people won't.
Right.
And I think, that's a tenet of, like, if you look at business, if you look at, I mean, I know you on the, the front stoop. So it's like, if you looked at like how some of these, like, the labels, got, exploded in the 90s, it was just like, listen, you're not going to put my music on. You're going to, we're just going to do it on our own.
Right.
So, we got that same mentality. Now we're just, maybe the profit motive is not there, not necessarily always there, but, we just doing it because we're trying to share our perspective on the team. And we think that there's other people that, that share our perspective. Right.
Right.
So, you just got to keep continuing to do, whether you got 10 people, whether you got 100 people, whether you got 1,000 people, 10 people is whoever it is. Right. That means that there is 10, 100,000 people, supporting you and you're supporting them.
Right.
So,
no doubt. Hey, man. Hey, so let me ask you, because I already know, right? I kind of follow you and a group of guys on Twitter and some other Knicks platforms and whatever to get, to stay kind of tuned in. Can you share where you are and who you're hanging out with and some stuff that diehard Knicks fan should look to follow as they look for Knicks news?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna drop the Twitter handle down there. It's VDADHANIA. I've written stuff for the KFS Knicks Film School stuff, but it's the site's something's wrong with the site right now. But I've recently started writing stuff for Daily Knicks, and I have some stories I wrote about. I called it like the Tibbs files, like how we can unleash how Tibbs can unleash certain traits and stuff into certain players, or how we can like unleash their potential a little bit. So I focused on 4 players. I focused on Mitch. I focused on Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett, and the last one was Julius Randle. I mean, I could share the pieces, but it was kind of cool the way I did with Randle, because I kind of I was able to get film and just kind of like break down things that he should have done, and should continue doing, and what he shouldn't do anymore. So I think it was a lot of fun. Found out a lot of like random statistics. I mean, I'll just share a couple nuggets. Like, when you look at someone like a Kevin Knox, you're like, all right, why? I mean, he was a terrible shooter last year, but then there are certain areas of the floor where he actually shot, half decently well, but he just didn't get the opportunities to do it. And obviously defense and other things played a role into it. So, the pieces are all there. I'll share a couple links, for your followers, but highly recommend those pieces.
Right. Hey, and you know what? I'll hit you up on Twitter so that I can get the links and stuff.
Yeah.
So that I can share that with everybody, so that we can continue to spread the Knicks knowledge amongst ourselves. Just share, because there are some things out there in the Knicks stratosphere that Knicks fans don't know about because they hadn't either looked into advanced stats or they hadn't been told. Like RJ Barrett averaging 17 points per game after Mook Morris was traded, and he shot 45% from the field and 32% from 3. But the narrative is that RJ Barrett is a terrible shooter from everywhere on the floor, and to share with Knicks fans. Of course, the 32% needs to improve, but 45% is the same percentage that Donovan Mitchell shot from the floor. So it's one of those things that I think we need to share more info.
Yeah, I mean, it's like some of it's like it's like simple stuff is like shot profile, right? Try to take more corner threes. Try to get more opportunities in like the strong side 3, right? Just looking at different shot charts, and I kind of did a more expansive one on Knox because I thought Knox was a more fascinating analysis, and I kind of piggybacked that onto Randle a bit. So listen, I put a link on there. I know people want to get on the chat, so take a look, and you can kind of click on my name and you can just find the other stuff I wrote. But yeah, man, I've listened to your stuff. I watched some of the replays, and hopefully I can come back on a live one soon.
Okay. Hey, dog. Hey, man, listen. It's an honor, dog. I'm telling you when I say this, and listen, I'm not capping, because I really don't care for a lot of people that do Knicks stuff. I don't. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with them, like, because I think a lot of it is more about raising their profile as opposed to talking about the things that we love, like our Knicks. You know what I'm saying? So some people don't. Some people like me for being real. Some people don't. But when I tell you, man, I appreciate the fact that you be real 24/7. I need for you to know I'm real about that. And thanks again for coming on, man. You got to come on again, man, so we can talk some Knox.
Of course. Appreciate it.
Hey, man. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, take care, though.
All right. All right. So I'm going to add Rick to call. All right. All right. Just doing some secretarial stuff, right?
Yo.
Yeah. Man that came on, you know what I mean?
Yo, is it me or he sounds staticky?
Let me see here. And all right. Fellas, was good. I'm sorry about the wait, man. I'm sorry about the wait, but I didn't want the joint to crash. Y'all know how, I didn't want the joint to crash, man. So, and then have y'all talking shit about me talking about my dial up. How y'all tonight, man?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Good. How are you?
Hey, Rick, I know you want to jump on here and take my head off, dog.
Man.
What?
I need explanations, man. I need to know why.
For what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
How we the young core business, all those teams you named, those guys play. I'm so confused.
What do you mean?
Charlotte, Cleveland, Atlanta, Chicago. Homie said that we're just as good.
All I did was ask the question. Is our core comparable to theirs?
Nope. You can just look at Chicago. Look at Chicago. They have Levine. Like,
I don't think we're as an organization we're too far away from these teams, but the young talent is not comparable. They have guys that are established. Sexton is a 20-point scorer in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Trey is a 20-point scorer in this league.
He's an all-star.
Chicago, they have Levine. Levine is 24 years old. He's 26-point scorer in this league. Should have been an all-star.
We might be last.
Charlotte. What'd you say?
We might be last.
We are. Because our guys don't, I'm not saying, maybe he meant by maybe we're projecting. We're always projecting. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a projection thing. But as of today, we're not where they're at.
Well, you can't count draft picks that we don't have yet.
Haven't been picked yet.
Yeah.
No, maybe he's projecting Knox and RJ and Mitch and Frank to be better players down the line.
Well, you got to project that for the other teams too.
No, Mike. But no, the question was posed to me. Mike Nieva asked me. He said, "Hey, how do you rank our young core to everybody else?" And see, I hadn't thought about. I don't think about stuff like that because it's like a loaded question because core means you may be like, how are they right now? Shit, everybody's trash. I don't care if Trey Young made it.
They're not even a core.
Garbage.
We don't have a core.
I don't care if Colin Sexton averaged 20 points a game, man. The Cavaliers are garbage. You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about that. What I'm saying is this.
Crazy. I have an issue with those comments because if RJ was putting up Sexton's numbers, we'd be hopeful.
Yeah.
We'd be like, oh, okay, RJ's ready.
We got something here.
We got something here. RJ's ready to go. We just need to get him some help. We just need to do that. And then, but what we do when
y'all hadn't even listening to me. Man, my only thing with I want to win, man.
I understand that.
That's the point that I'm trying to tell everybody. I don't care about all that stuff. I care about winning, man. You know what I'm saying? It's time out for us like babying certain cats and making excuses. Like we made before we babied the young core. We used to make 1,000 excuses for Carmelo Anthony. We're like, oh, Melo doesn't have enough help. Oh, Melo only plays sometimes he plays defense. Phil Jackson's on him. That's why I don't care about that stuff, dog. I don't care about that stuff. I want to win. You know what I'm saying? That's the point that I'm getting at.
Like all we care about is that. That's not the point. The point is that
no, that's not what I'm saying.
We all want to win, but one of the reasons why a lot of people were very disappointed about this past season is because of the fact that Yeah, we did better than the year before, but it wasn't being driven by the young players.
Right.
You know, we started a veteran lineup of free agents and 1-year contracts, and then RJ. Now, if we had the same record with the young players, we'd be more hopeful, even though we still losing, but you'd be more hopeful because the kids are the few wins we have, they are being contributed by young players. So to say that we're better than our core is comparable to those other teams is kind of ridiculous, because those other teams, it's the young players that's leading the charge. That's not the situation with us.
So you said something to me that made sense, and I think we kind of glossed over it. My point was, like, when you said, because I was in a mindset that if we're going to develop a young core into a playoff team, I'm with it, as long as we grow the right way. And you said that, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but you mentioned the fact that we probably should have ran it back with the other squad that we couldn't trade, the 18-19 team. You know what I'm saying? I would not have even had an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? My point was we need to get on a trajectory that leads to significantly more wins as we go across, like as we, you know what I'm saying, progress through the years. You know what I'm saying? So if we win 25 and then next year win 35 and then the next year win 45, I can see at least where we're going. You know what I'm saying? But when you bring in all these vets and, you know, your trajectory was 17 wins, and then you're talking about the next year you win 21 and you paid all that money and put all this hope in the guys, that's where my frustration lies. Not in the fact that the young guys didn't do it. I'm talking about the fact that we just don't have a clear plan or path that we want to go. You know what I'm saying? That's my frustration. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I feel like if you have young guys that you can make better just by letting them play, then I would say, then I'd be on board for that. Even if those young players were named Noah Vonleh, Mario Hezonja, and cats like that. I just want to win. That's it. I don't care. I don't care about, you know, the names on the back of the jersey. I just want to win, man. I mean, it's been 20 years, legit 20 years since we've been relevant.
Yeah, but I think we have to be honest with what we have too.
So I mean,
we walk on saying that we got comparable as those other teams.
Yeah, and at the same time, those teams though are not on the cusp of making the playoffs. Those teams are garbage. You know what I'm saying? Who are they for us to compare ourselves to? I just posed a question because Mike, you know what I'm saying, asked a question. Legit asked one Knicks fan asked another Knicks fan about, you know, another team. And I just wanted to address it. So
you can draw things out of losses though. I mean, the Golden State Warriors and Art can correct me if I'm wrong. I think, you know, then they went like 28 games or 20 games or something like in the Mark Jackson days before, but you saw improvement. But they were playing young players, and you know, so they were building. But Peyton's on a 1-year deal, and Portis is on a 1+1. Randall expires at the end of this year, so we improved from the year before, but it wasn't. Knox took a step back. Frank had an slight improvement. Mitch pretty much is the same player. No, Frank improved, but it was incremental. So I'm saying I can't.
Why y'all love Frank so much, man?
No, I didn't know. You're stuck on Frank. I said Knox. I said Mitch. You know, RJ didn't have the year that we thought that we would hope. I don't think. I think we probably wanted more. So I just find it interesting that.
But you know, like what with Mark Jackson, it's not like he played Clay and Steph were like the kids, but like He played Ellis. He played David Lee. Like he didn't play like the scrub kids. Like he didn't play Ekpe Udo.
Yeah.
Like they shipped him out. Like they moved on from him.
Right.
You gotta get.
Like, you gotta play the good players. You can't just play guys that don't know what they're doing because it's gonna like you're gonna make the other players look bad.
Yeah, you gotta bring young players in here that you're forced to play because they're good. You're not forced to play because hey, he's a lottery pick. I have to play him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and you know what? I'll give you a good example. So the Miami Heat traded Josh Richardson and the Jimmy Butler deal, right? That was a solid young piece for them. They also traded Justice Winslow to get
Iguodala,
Jay Crowder, and Iguodala, right? Another lottery pick from them, right? They traded those young pieces and made the NBA Finals, right? So my point to it is if it takes trading some of these young cats to get to the finals, the reason why you even come to tip off is to win. So you need to try to win every drill. You need to win everything in weight training. You need to approach it like it's do or die, everything. You know, you got to be hungry, you know what I'm saying, for this thing, because teams that are not hungry don't win. They just don't. I mean, look at over the years, all the draft picks the Minnesota Timberwolves have had. They're not a hungry franchise. You know what I'm saying? They drafted a lottery every year. They're not starving. And they are exactly who we think they are. They're just a random moribund franchise that drafts high in the lottery every year, right? I mean, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Golden State was hungry. They're starving. They come from a championship pedigree back in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? They legit want to win. You know what I'm saying? But the Knicks, we have to kick this thing into gear where winning at everything is the most important thing.
Well, how many wins did Miami have last year?
What was that?
How many wins did Miami have last year?
They were like the 9th seed, I think. They didn't make it because Wade was retiring.
They drafted good enough to be able to send off Winslow and Jason Richardson. Not Jason Richardson, but
they found players. They always found
and not be hurt by it because they drafted good enough. Like the Knicks.
Yeah, they're like, undrafted Duncan Robinson. Undrafted Duncan Robinson got more playing time than lottery pick Justice Winslow.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like the Knicks gotta have these veterans in here just to win 20 games.
Yeah.
Right.
Duncan Robinson. Without the first year playing, or he in the league.
I think so.
Yeah, undrafted.
I know he was undrafted, but I know he's old though. He's
this is his second year.
Second year, so he came in last year.
Yeah.
Did he play last year?
He played like 15 games.
10
minutes per game.
So he made a huge jump.
Yeah.
Right.
Opportunity.
Yep.
And so
he always can shoot.
Well, yeah, that's true. And so the thing is with bringing in a Tom Thibodeau, and this is what I've been wanting for a long. I remember I used to get smashed on Twitter for saying the Knicks should go after Lionel Hollins because he's just out there sitting on somebody's bench. And the reason why I was saying go after a Lionel Hollins is at least a cat like that would establish a baseline. Like if you get a Lionel Hollins, you automatically know, regardless what's on your roster, you're going to win at least 45 games. You know what I'm saying? And if you get into the playoffs, you know what I'm saying, you at least have a chance to win a championship. But we were running that cast like Derek Fisher. You know what I'm saying? David Fisdale.
Hollins wouldn't have won 45 games with the roster Derek Fisher had.
No.
Or Fisdale. It starts with drafting.
A coach isn't LeBron James, you know?
Yeah.
They're not going to.
But Lionel Hollins established something. Like when he comes to your team, well, back then, I don't know about now, but back then you knew what you were getting into. Like you knew his system was going to be something like a grit and grind or something, right? When Fisdale got here, you didn't know what type system we were running. We were like, what's the direction of the team? But I don't know. We just bringing in young guys. And with Derek Fisher, You like, yo, what's the direction of the team? We're gonna run a triangle. Well, shit, that's offense. What about defense? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? I mean, with Hornacek, you like, yo, what are we doing? We're just gonna try to get across half court, and
we've had in just this century 14 coaches in 20
20 years. Did he break up? You guys hear him?
He froze.
Yeah.
For me?
14 20 years, man. That's like every almost, if you really divide it, it's like almost a year and a half each time you get a new coach. So it's you got to get the talent. I mean,
you got to stop blaming the coach.
Where the talent is good, and you could obviously okay, we're underachieving. We got like Phoenix was.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix had talent, and then but they were underachieving, and they brought in the coach.
Yep.
Right.
So I think we have the coach now. We have Tip now. So I can't. There's no more complaining. So now it's all about the talent. Let's focus on the talent now. We can't be no more tweets about spread pick and roll.
Yeah.
We need players now, man. Now we need players. So how many wins did Miami have last year?
I don't know.
Because I'm just trying to figure out.
They had 39.
They had 39. So they were close.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they made the playoffs then, 39?
No, they were ninth. They were ninth seed.
With 39? Wow.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn was the 8th seed, right? They had 40 or something. 40 and 42. The great Kenny Atkinson, man. I can't believe yesterday, man. You had somebody just hyping him up.
So we have a long way to go.
It wasn't me. I mean,
so in the topic of this is like, so what are the trades? What are the trades that's gonna get us to where you want to be, Freeze? What are the players that we can get that's gonna get us down the winning track?
Okay, so here's the deal. I think if you trade for Russell Westbrook and you aggressively go after a Christian Wood, I think that might be enough to at least get us to a net 40 win situation if Tom Thibodeau is the coach that we think he is, right? And so, and I might be the only one like pushing aggressively for Christian Wood, like on a multi-year deal. But I do believe Russell Westbrook and his shot creation, not for himself all the time, but for others, gets us to like 40 wins.
So is that a 5-year plan, or is that you're just worrying about next year?
I'm talking with Russell Westbrook. If you trade for Russell Westbrook, you got to start the clock immediately. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about like being creative, adding pieces to Russell Westbrook because you don't know how long he's going to have elite athleticism. You know what I'm saying? So you want to start the clock immediately with those guys. And then plus, just like I said a few minutes ago, winning should be the most important thing every day. You know what I'm saying? Not 3 years from now. You know what I'm saying? So you add guys, by like what Chuck B said. And every time he say it, it's absolutely true. You have to draft correctly. You have to do this stuff in the draft. You know what I'm saying? You have to draft the right guys. It's just one of those things. It's true. The first time he said it, I was like, this dude's spot on. You know what I'm saying? And every time he say it, it's like, it's even more accurate. Like when he said, even though that's impossible, the same fact being more accurate. But it's just the fact that
you're not interested in almost having like a I hate to say it, like a developmental year.
I'm scared of 40 wins this coming season because of the draft, because of the next draft.
Well, it sounds like the Knicks are with you because they saying their eyes on the 2021 draft.
Yeah, because 40 wins is purgatory. That is
purgatory.
Yes. So
I don't know if it's purgatory because Miami's been drafting 13 every year and they made the finals.
Right.
Like you just have to have good. You have to have a legit scouting department that wherever they draft, they could draft somebody good.
Right. And so where did Donovan Mitchell and Michael Porter Jr. get drafted? They got drafted in what, the early teens?
Yeah,
Maybe like 14,
I think Porter was 11. I think Porter Jr. was 11, and then he was 13, right?
Ryder was 13.
No, Bridges was 11. Bridges was 11.
Oh, so yeah, he was like 13 or something.
Yeah.
I thought Mitchell was either 14 or 17.
I think it was 13.
Yeah, Mitchell was 13.
Yeah, Booker was 13.
Porter Jr. was 14.
Okay. Hey, State, you want to come?
State wants to come on.
Oh, State want to come in.
I was never on with State. I was never on with State yet.
I really wanted to rip that dude, man, with talking about when he was talking crazy.
You talking about Viv?
Viv, I like Viv, but he wasn't on his game today. Like he said, Dragic would be too expensive.
Yeah.
Like we're talking, he's not gonna cost more than FV.
He's not gonna make 20.
He ain't gonna make 20s. He's gonna cost less than Russell, cost less than FVV, cost less than.
Yeah, but he's not going to be the player those guys are. He's not going
to. It doesn't matter. He's here to give you 1 or 2 years and then be a veteran mentor to what hopefully we draft a young point guard. He's coming here.
So now that you clarified your point, I understand where you're coming from. But say for instance, if you get a Russell Westbrook, you're expecting an elite MVP caliber point guard, right? And that's what you expect because of the money that you're making. And plus, Russell Westbrook has done it. Goran Dragic has not been an elite MVP caliber point guard, and you can get him at significantly less. He's been borderline all-star. So for the money that you spend on him, I could see where you're coming from when making that point. But what Viv is saying, if you're looking at getting an elite all-star caliber, borderline MVP type point guard play, I don't know if Dragic is in that conversation, man.
And Russell's elite all-star days are behind him. They're not in front of him. So they're not going to be.
So you don't think Russell Westbrook is going to make the all-star team in the East at guard?
Yeah.
No, he'll make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, he's going to make it. Hell yeah, he might start. Shit. You know, I mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, he hasn't lost anything. It's just that jump shot is just.
Jump shot.
Yeah. And he didn't have the ball. He didn't have the ball in his head. He didn't have the ball in his hand as much as he did.
Chuck, what's the deal with us and these guys that can't shoot? I don't get it. What's the love affair?
So, but you missing what
I saw. What, like the DeJounte Murray this morning?
We're true New Yorkers, yo, because New York point guards, that's their MO. Except Marbury is the exception.
Marbury
is the exception. Most New York, and I guess Kimba, but is Kimba New York? Yeah, he is Bronx.
Oh no.
Pookie.
Oh no, that's
let's get this party started. Yo, if you ain't coming here swinging, I'm gonna kick you out.
So
No,
nah. I'm gonna exit. Yeah, real
Cliff
quick.
Robinson.
I'm gonna exit, right? Because my phone service is trash, and I'm gonna get on my laptop. And I'm gonna use my laptop.
All right.
You look like Cliff Robinson.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, you look like Tyrone Biggums. You look like Tyrone Biggums.
Wow.
But what's the fascination with these guys that can't shoot, man?
But Rick, you missing my point. My point was not what he brings as a 3-point shooter. My point is he's an elite shot maker for others. He literally creates shots for others. He's averaged 10 assists a game in 2 seasons. When's the last time the Knicks had a guy that averaged 10 assists a game?
Never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. He is an elite shot maker for others that can't create their own shots. I mean, even if we get 35% on 6 attempts a game from Westbrook, it still wouldn't be better than him getting 10 assists a game.
So we're bottom in shooting, right?
Yeah.
And,
Right. Who is he passing to?
And you bring Westbrook. You think he helps the shooting?
I'd rather have CP3.
I'd rather have CP3.
Right. So you would rather have CP3 for the fact that he'll make others around him better, or do you feel like he's a better distributor?
I think they both will do that.
He'll make things easier for everyone else, but like CP3 could shoot.
See, yeah, CP3 can shoot. Yeah, I'll give him. And
then it's only 2 years of CP3
in the contract. That's what I care about.
And Russell Westbrook's like 4 years.
That's 4 years of $40-something million, man.
Yeah.
No, that's 3 years of Westbrook, right?
No, it's 4. I'm pretty sure it's 4.
I mean, so for guys that watch the show, generally what I use as a resource is Spot Track to look up players' contracts. So if y'all
go on Hoops Hype. Hoops Hype has the best one.
Oh yeah, Hoops Hype too. Yeah.
So all right, let's go. Russell Westbrook. He has a contract until 2023.
Yeah, that's 3 years from
Yeah, that's crazy.
But my guy is still 32.
Oh, Dragic is coming off 590. Yeah, and he's 34. He just got an injury. He's not getting that kind of money anymore. He got his big payday.
Right.
That's what this is the kind of money that CP3, not CP3, but FVV is gonna get. He's gonna get.
Oh man,
He's not gonna get a big money.
Oh my God! Who let the dragon in the chat? Oh my God! Guillermo just showed up.
Frank he was defending Frank yesterday. Oh my God!
Hey, Guillermo is in the chat. Hey, salute! Hey, salute! Hey, salute to the dragon. I know Guillermo is gonna come and.
I can't believe he said Luka Doncic is not a superstar. It's not a superstar.
Yo, he trolling y'all, man. That dude, I'm telling you, he's trolling y'all, man. Y'all know it. I did what I told you.
Hey,
he just say that, man, to get a ride.
My ideal off season with regards to the point guard situation is we get Killian Hayes, and then we get Dragic because
State, you'll get abused. You'll get abused, State.
I'll defend Knox. I have a hard time defending Frank.
How's he a dumb basketball player? He's second on the team on blocks. That's what he was going to say.
How you going to defend Frank and then call Dragic ass in the same sentence?
No. I agree with the Dragic. I agree with the Dragic. I'm with the Dragic. Dragic and Killian Hayes. There's no guarantee you get Cade Cunningham. You guys thinking about 2021.
When the Knicks are never getting the first pick.
That's insane. I mean, you would think after the Zion debacle that we would learn our lesson.
Yeah.
Yo, State, you already got an invite, man. Just click the button. What you doing? You just showed up with your phone. You showed up with your phone and said you was gonna get on the laptop, and now you're asking for another invite.
Let's just suck until Imani Bates is draft eligible.
Guillermo, try to see if you could find one fast break that Frank had from coast to coast. Rebound and go coast to coast. Find one.
Knox has done it. Knox has done it several times his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just one. Find him one time out of 3 years.
Chuck. How about you acknowledge that Knox done it multiple times his rookie year, right? Just say yes. Say yes.
Yeah.
Nod your head.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is. Sylvester is in the building.
You funny.
Well, I never accused Knox of being.
I'm telling you.
Okay. Yeah. I know Kate.
You know you got Chuck B live.
Here he is.
Right. Hey,
You know what?
If they go off the jog, it'll be
Let's
like
go,
a year
I'm
or
seeing y'all disrespecting my role player. This Mr. 6'3" and 2 is a role player. So let me clear that out the room right now.
Okay.
Now, what I'm not going to do is disrespect Frank because every championship team has a role player, aka Alex Caruso. That's what y'all not going to do.
All right.
What you're not going to do, hold on, OG. What you're not going to do is disrespect Bruce Bowen. What you're not going to do is disrespect Derek Fisher. What you're not going to do is disrespect James Harden. I'm sick of this notion that Frank is trash.
Oh, wait, time out.
Go ahead, Oops. Go ahead.
How many of those guys that you just named were actually drafted by those teams?
Well, oh, damn.
None of them drafted in the
None of them.
That's true. That's very true. But
if you just find them
let me give you an example. If we had,
you made our point though. Before you give an example, you made our point.
I know, but
you named a bunch of second rounders and undrafted dudes, and you defending somebody that was drafted 8th.
But I don't care about where you're drafted because any draft pick after 3 is a crapshoot because they imagine the Bucks picking Giannis and thinking he's going to be an MVP at 15. That's the logic you're using right now. If you're going by that logic, I could use that too. Imagine
you have to go as far as MVP, but you expect them to be good. But we're not talking about 15. We talk about top 10.
Oh man, we got 6 in here.
That's understandable. We talking top 10, but don't place this negative aura around Frank just because his first 2 seasons was ass.
3.
I wanted to trade Frank
3.
his first 2 years. I wanted to trade him. Huh?
3.
No, 2.
3.
His 3rd season, he finally learned how to play point guard. Let's be consistent.
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
What are you talking
Chuck!
about? Played point guard.
Chuck, you gotta stop.
How many points
every year?
Yeah, how many point guards pass it once they cross half court? How many point guards do that? He's the only one that does that.
But you gotta understand, in Fizdale office, what was Frank doing every time he came across half court? Guillermo, can you answer the question, please?
Yeah, he did a what? He did a dribble handoff, didn't he?
He still do that.
But you said a key word. You guys said a key word right there. Fizdale.
Thank you.
Terrible coaches. There was no call. Hold up. How can you sit here? I'm sorry. And funny enough, I was actually trying to find a clip of where Frank was leading the fast break before I came on. Because I didn't want to try to disrespect Frank like that. But let me tell you this. I forgot who put it on Twitter, and Vivek might know it. That Frank literally has the best defensive stats against Luka Doncic. We've seen him rookie year be the best defensive player guard against a pick and roll. And yet, y'all talking about Kevin Knox? Yo, bro, Kevin Knox jumped over a ball like a cartoon, and it rolled under him like, yo, bro, he has the worst awareness I've seen out of any player. Forget the offense. Yeah, the guy lets guys get behind on backdoor screens. The guy's confused. Now, the block thing is good. That's something he could build off of, but Kevin Knox, I want to kill Frank. Y'all should be killing Kevin Knox way more than Frank.
Can I defend Knox real quick, please?
Only thing I say about Knox, though, is that they do not run enough off-ball screens. They don't basically run them how like he played at Kentucky.
He doesn't know how to cut.
I agree. They need to do more.
Thank you. That's all I want. It's when it comes to Kevin Knox, first of all, you cannot call a guy soft who's second on the team in blocks. You can't. Let's do it right now. Oops, you're laughing. I understand. Laugh what you want. But Julius Randle played 1,000 minutes more than Kevin Knox, and he has less blocks. That is fact. That is fact. Julius Randle played 1,000 more minutes than Kevin Knox, and he has twice as less blocks. That is fact. Yes, he do. Go look it up right now, Chuck. If I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Go look it up right now. Knox at a point last season. Hold on. Knox at a point last season had more total blocks than Julius Randle and Bobby Portis combined. And y'all praise empty stats. Stop praising empty stats. I'm sick of hearing about Julius Randle's 19 and 9. I'm sick of it.
Julius Randle was terrible. It's like
It was terrible.
Julius Corey Maggette used to put up like 20 and 10 or whatever on like terrible teams. Out of nowhere. Julius Randle was terrible. He could go. I don't care.
Now, Guillermo, look at this, right?
Knox was fifth in blocks.
Wait, say that again?
Fifth in blocks.
Who?
Knox. Mitchell Robinson 2.0. Taj 0.
No. Name the total amount.
Oh, fuck the total.
Hey, come on, Chuck. Hey, Chuck. If I couldn't find, Chuck. No, Chuck. If I couldn't find a Frank Ntilikina fast break, you got to exhaust all research options as well, too, man.
Yes.
Can I say something?
Knox was third. Go ahead, man.
Y'all should look at block rate as opposed to just blocks because Knox didn't play a lot of minutes.
But Kevin Knox is third on the team.
Also, but you know what? The block stuff is overrated. Go look at his field goal percentage versus the average field goal percentage, right? Look at that comparison. And his field goal percentage.
Knox, my saving grace with Knox and my only defense of Knox is that he started playing basketball late, so you can tell the way he plays, he lacks feel. The one thing I will give him credit for is that I don't know if you guys notice it, but I see
he dribbles with his head up
things, and then last year he was. I preferred Knox this past season than I liked Knox the year before because the year before Fizdale just gave him. That period there was more accountability and I saw some actually. He actually was passing the ball and getting assists and playmaking. Go check it out. He had Matt
Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson.
He made some passes that I didn't know he had in him.
But y'all dudes want to do.
And my issue with Frank. My issue with Frank.
Hold on. You want to trade Knox and Frank, ruin the chemistry between your former lottery picks, mind you. Knox, Frank, RJ, Mitch. Plays well together.
No, they don't.
They play well together. Forget the vets. Let's forget the vets for one time. Let's forget the vets. Straight our draft picks.
They lost well together. They lose well together.
That is not fact because there was a lot of games. The Knicks kids wasn't up double digits both games against the 76ers.
17
so the Knicks kids
21 wins is losing.
No. Chuck. I need context when we speak, right? We watch every Knicks game. Guillermo. All right, Guillermo Oops. We wasn't watching the Knicks game where the Knicks kids was up plus 15 in Philadelphia. And when the Vets came in that game, the Vets lost that lead. And by the time the kids getting back in the game, who was down 20, that's not fact.
I don't remember exactly which game that was, but I do remember when the Philadelphia game. Not the one where Randall looked off RJ in the corner. I don't think it was that one. I think it was the one they played at home, right? Where we were up.
Yeah, we was up. We was playing defense.
We was up double digits, bro.
All right.
State. Y'all
keep talking about total blocks, right? Y'all talk about total blocks. Taj had 30.
I don't care about Taj. I don't care about nobody that's not in the future. I don't care about none of his stats. I don't care about none of his stats.
The thing about the block.
To make a point. Taj had 30.
All right, go ahead.
30 in 62 games.
Mm-hmm.
Knox had 28 in 65 games.
How many more minutes did Taj play than Knox?
Oh, now you want minutes.
But
hold on. The block stat in itself without proper context is not the right thing to look at because we don't know if these are weak side. First of all, blocks. I want to say they as like they're not necessarily glamour, but I want to see what is your percentage. This is why I use with Knox, and it did slightly improve, but it's still a positive differential, which is not good. What is the average player's field goal percentage, and what is their field goal percentage when they're playing you? And it's higher when Knox is playing them versus their normal average, which is not good. So
that's not fact. That's not fact because
Knox is allowed backdoor slot, backdoor. You see a lot of guys are beating Knox to the basket. He makes that stupid foul where they're literally making the layup and Knox will hit him, and he'll be like, oh, it's like. So he has terrible reaction.
Guillermo, you think he cannot improve?
He doesn't slide his hips well. He's flat-footed, so he has terrible anticipation. If you're not like the thing about guys like Shane Battier, guys like Bruce Bowen, you're right. They don't have necessarily the greatest athleticism or twitch, but it's all about anticipation and timing, right? It's all about getting myself in the proper position to defend a certain player. If I have a guy right there in a corner three, and I know he likes to make backdoor cuts, the baseline is my friend. I'm not letting him get that baseline. I'm going to cut off his baseline. He has to only cut in front of me. Knox needs to learn these little nuance.
Yo, that's not attributed to coaching as well. Like the coach is not supposed to put him in.
Let me make the
that's what I'm saying. Right? It's like there's certain basic things like Julius Randle not being able to pass out the double team. Like you don't need Pat Riley to come down and tell you, hey, pass out the double team when they're coming.
Can we stick with Knox? Can we stick with Knox?
No, that's the thing with Knox. It's the same thing with Knox.
Knox has to step out of bounds, whenever you pass it.
Knox, they're not going to run the basketball. They're not going to run the same stuff we ran in Kentucky. Knox.
They're tired with the third center.
Say it again, Freezy.
Y'all comparing Taj, who's the starting center, to a wing that comes off the bench. Just that in itself.
No.
I wasn't comparing Taj. That's early, and
I don't really care about the blocks.
Wait, here's the significance of the block.
Knox played more minutes.
Here's the significance of the block. Can I say something?
Knox played more minutes than Taj.
Hold on. Here's the significance of the blocks. It's the improvement compared to the previous year where he was a sieve. This past year, that's an improvement in the fact that he was blocking shots. And Knox's future is not Bruce Bowen's or any one of these great defensive players, okay? So his offense is going to have to outweigh his defense because he's not a great defender. So we know that. So
can I ask you a question on that, Rick Ward? Can I ask you a question on that, right? So this goes back to Frank now, right? So Frank, me and Say New York believe, and this is why I think Frank has pension, because I think he's gotten terrible coaching, right? Now, you just said he's going to have to work on his scoring, right? Knox is not an ISO scorer. When he drives to the basket, it's very linear. He doesn't have a change. He doesn't have a post-up game. He doesn't have a little elbow jumper, none of that.
He can't cut.
He does not get the proper coach, right? Because you can't, even with Frank, this is why I'm not like one of these crazy guys on Frank. I love Frank, but I've always said Frank has to marry his game to the NBA game. For Knox, if they do not run similar things at Kentucky where he's a primary target, right? He's being used to move off the ball, and they look at, all right, get him around the screen, give him the ball as he's moving.
He did that at the start of the season.
Don't do that. What does Knox have to do? What areas of his game do you see now that you say, all right, I can see him with a post-up game, or I can see him developing a Euro step? What is it? Because I don't see it.
Nothing.
I don't see it.
Nothing.
He has the floater.
He just
actually going in a little bit, but it's very linear. There's no.
Yeah, I know.
It's no.
You know what?
I feel like he's playmaker dependent. He's gonna need somebody.
They just keeps watching. They keep just watches the match dunking on Ben.
I saw the improvements this past year at point guard play, but I don't see it at NBA point guard level, even NBA backup point guard level. So to me, Frank, his role, he's a secondary playmaker. I don't want him as a backup point guard or as a starting point guard. He could play those positions, but you would have to have a team stacked with offensive with players that are very proficient offensively, because Frank is a guy that's going to facilitate and get people a lot of good looks.
But here's the thing about it, and this is the thing. It sucks because it's going to depend on coaching, right? So I remember Frank's, I want to say his first year, right? I saw glimpses of a post-up game. Like he literally backed down guys and
You had glimpses of everything.
into the center part of the paint and shoot the floor. Hold on, and shoot the little turnaround, whatever you call it. But I'm not saying that again. What I'm trying to say is that these coaches. This is why guys like Spoelstra. I know P may feel away about, but this is why I like guys like that because they take a guy like Jimmy Butler who upped his assist game. And I know assists aren't the only indicator of good facilitation, but it is one of the indicators, right? He upped his assists to about 6 assists this year, right? And you see him operate a lot from the post, right? It's the same thing LeBron James did. Lost to the Mavericks, came back next year, went to Olajuwon, did all that stuff. He tore OKC a new asshole by operating in the post. It's all about – it's not necessarily about getting a big man in the post like question. It's about getting mismatches. If Frank is 6'7", 6'8", why don't you get him against these smaller guys like Kemba who have to basically almost foul him? And if they want to double team Frank, if he's starting to score in the paint against smaller guards, then he can pass out, which he can do.
Can I make
just do that?
Frank doesn't make contact.
He won't score in the post for smaller guards. He has no moves. For one, for two, he's not backing nobody down. He's light in the pocket.
Hey, hold up.
Like he need to be placed in the post. He's not getting there off a dribble.
You know why he got to the post a lot when he was with Jeff Hornacek? Because Hornacek ran the triangle. And so the only reason why put it like this. RJ
didn't run the triangle.
A lot of people don't even know this, but RJ Barrett's top 5 in the league in points in the post per possession. Like, so every time RJ Barrett posts up, it's gonna be a guaranteed point.
I don't know if it's true, but I can see that.
You know why?
Let's look it up, man. This guy
can't go from nowhere.
Hold on, Guillermo. You know why you don't see it though? Because Randall big dumbass is camped in the paint. Randall dumbass is camped in the paint. You can't see RJ operate. This is why you say Randall, right? Well, because when you sign for $19 million, right?
Oh, you're gonna complain about Randall.
This is why I disrespect Randall a lot. We signed you to make us be better. We didn't sign you to make us look worse. We didn't sign him for that.
But the funny thing is, Randall's position in the post, I actually don't mind in the post.
Randall gives no run, no effort, no hustle on defense. Even Zach Randolph gave you effort. Even Zach gave you effort. And he gives you
right. Zebo's the beast.
Huh?
But Randall, I don't know what it is, but Randall, at least offensively, when I saw with the Pelicans, even after AD went down, Randall was more of a willing facilitator with that OKC with the Pelicans, even after AD went down. He comes to the Knicks, who you could argue they had the same time, whatever. I know Drew Holiday's on Pelicans; he's way better than anybody on our team. But for some reason, Julius Randle, he couldn't pass out the double team, which it amazes me. I'm like, dogs, you literally see double. I've seen Julius Randle see the double team coming. He did a spin move into the baseline, jumped in the air, and tried to throw a I'm like, dog.
That's
not like a trust, bro. This is the thing about it. It's not like a trust because if I see a double team coming and a guy I've seen times guys are cutting into the lane, you make that pass. If I see a double team coming, you make that the anticipation pass because that's an easy. Not to say, look, I'm not saying people can't miss layups and stuff. That's a higher field goal percentage.
Was he getting double team? Was he getting double team in New Orleans?
No.
Oh no! All right, so I'll admit when I was looking at all the little videos I was watching of the Pelicans games, I didn't really pick that up of him doing a bad job of passing out the double team. But I mean that goes to my point. Like I don't know what the hell happened.
So a lot of guys, the first time or the first season that they're put in a position where they're the guy that's getting doubled, it takes them a while to know how to pass out of the double. There's guys that struggle passing out of the double. First of all, I don't want Randall. Let me make it clear. I don't want Randall on the team, so I don't even.
You know you love Randall, so that's the boy.
Randall y'all really like him as a basketball player? Like he's really good.
Rick Ward does a basketball player. I have a problem with him on this team.
I have a problem with him being a number one option. That's what I have.
Yeah,
that's not.
I think we're going to try to build straight down and get rid of him.
That's determined by the quality of players you're playing with. A lot of times, so you put Randall on another team, he's not going to be the number one option.
Well, I'll say this, sir. And I always go back to this.
Okay.
Chris Webber went to that Kings team. Understand me? So I'm not saying Randall's Chris Webber.
Don't ever.
Chris Webber went to that Kings team that was Garbaggio to the fullest. And he lifted them with unselfish play. He played in a post perimeter and also his passing. He was a great passer.
Wait, that's Stanford. Yeah, he's a great passer.
No. But what you just said the quality of players. Now, if you look at that Kings team, now, obviously you had players that we've grown to be like, oh, that guy was good, right? Like Bobby Jackson.
Bobby was good player.
They had a decent team, though.
Wasn't that Kings team Garbaggio before Webber?
Nah, it wasn't that bad.
Let's look at the records. Let's look at the records.
Guillermo, I don't like it when we're having these discussions and people pull examples from like 20, 30 years ago. The game is completely different.
I'm sorry. I was just saying the only point I'm trying to make is that you can have a guy, and I'm not saying Randall is that necessarily, but even your sacrifice on the offensive end, right? And also think about Randall defensively was terrible. He's not Obi Toppin terrible, but he was inconsistent at best. His best game, I think, was like that Rockets game where we won that game. That was the best defensive game I've seen him play for the Knicks in years. Randall, if he gave more of an effort, right? I think with Randall is that he's too muscle bound, right? So a lot of that energy, he expends a lot of energy offensively. He doesn't have any energy, he doesn't have any stamina, doesn't have any endurance, right? You saw that he did that weightlifting program, whatever. That's great if you want to be a bodybuilder, but in the NBA, we have to run up the floor. And he did that with Pelicans too, where he's heaving up the floor. He's not getting back on it. Like he has too much weight on him. So even defensively, he's inconsistent because he just doesn't have his body is not conditioned.
That's my only thing with Randy. He's the best we had, and then and he wasn't the only problem. He was part of the problem. There was multiple problems with this team. So, and I hate when we just pick one guy and try to scapegoat.
Oh no! The coaching, the front office. I mean, we've probably had some of the worst front office decision makers, and then like literally, Fizzo was not a coach. I literally watched every game.
You know what? Fizzo was not a coach. Who was the last coach of the New York Knicks?
That was good, like legit coach.
No. Just tell me who the last coach of the New York Knicks was.
Miller.
Why everybody act like he never existed? He coached 44 games out of 66. Can we stop talking about Fizdale with 22 games? Mike Miller coached 44.
No.
If you're gonna bring up the offense in total, we gotta pick on somebody. So we gotta pick on Fizdale.
Right,
that's the only person you can pick on.
Let's talk about something constructive.
So all right, understandable. So let's skip past this part. I want to get to the real conversation. Right?
What is it?
This Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook topic, it's a good subject because like 3 months ago I was telling everybody,
they used to curse me out because I said it was right.
So what's your opinion? Which one do you want?
Yo, it depends because if OKC asking for young players and first round picks, I'm not doing that at all. If they ask for this. In context, I'm not trading Frank Knox in a first-round pick. I'm not trading none of that for Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook. Like, you can't have that. If you trade for Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook, the reason why you trade for one of those two is to make those guys.
Well, what are you going to give up?
Huh?
What are you going to give up?
You got to remove you give them the Dallas 2023 pick. You give up DSJ, and that's when you get to go. Like, I read an article where it said Tibbs, it basically saying that Tibbs, RJ and Mitch is off limits, and then Tibbs got a soft spot for Frank, supposedly, because we know he's always in trade talk. They didn't mention nothing about Knox, so I'm not going to include Knox. But Chris Paul or Russ with RJ, Knox, Mitch, Frank, and use the rest of your cap on shooters, I don't see how that's a bad team to watch. I don't get. I don't get the issue.
Keyword.
Will it work? Will it work?
You said keyword to watch. You didn't say
no. To watch and to work.
A good or bad team, just to watch. But will they win?
Let me make it more simple. I think any point guard is better than Alfred Payton. So let's start there. I'd rather watch any other point guard without offense than Alfred Payton. I don't care who the point guard is. So
Alfred Payton's best friend was Randall, by the way. He had the highest.
Alfred Payton is the worst point guard I've ever seen. He's so garbage
on Twitter. We know.
So CP3 could help Frank and Knox, but not DSJ.
Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you, Chuck. Let me say this to you. No point guard, and I'm gonna repeat this. No point guard.
You know the fact.
No point guard that's ever played in the NBA that has played over 20,000 minutes and that's above 35 years old has been productive. So every point guard that very next season declines. So my fear about Chris Paul is we get him and then he turns into Tony Douglas. That's my fear. That's what
that'll never happen.
That's what I'd rather get.
This guy is so far, man.
Because hold on, I'd rather get Russell Westbrook because with Russ, I think I would like my Knicks team to take on his mentality.
Oh no.
Can I explain?
No, stay in New York. You know you might do. Stay in New York. You might do.
Let me explain. Don't kill me, brother.
All right, man. Yo, you my guy. So I've been. Come on, son. You said Westbrook.
He's
the dumbest player in the NBA, bro.
The exchanging of the jersey. The exchanging of the jerseys. The shaking of the hands after getting your ass whipped by 20. Moody trying to exchange a jersey with Wade after losing by 30. I'm sick of getting pulled. I'm sick of the bottom flips on the floor. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of shit. A lot of players don't respect Chris Paul.
All right,
let's be real. Let's be honest.
All right.
But Westbrook does not have the mental acuity to lead a team.
One more thing. I'll let you know. If I wanted RJ Barrett to have any person's mentality in the league, I want him with Russell Westbrook mentality.
No, RJ Barrett. Hold up, RJ Barrett to me is he's a self-sufficient dude. Like you see him play, you don't have to give him the battery. He already comes from that line of his father first and foremost, and Steve. Now he already has that pedigree. Russell Westbrook is a type of dude that he'll come to the Knicks and he'll pull that OKC. Hey, stuff my stats so I'll get a triple-double, and then when we get to the playoffs, I'm going to try to dip it off to you so you can try to make more shots.
That's what Billy Donovan.
Hold on. Westbrook is hold up. You just mentioned about players in over 35, whatever, right? The thing about Chris Paul, right? Just real quick, right? Chris Paul is of that Andre Miller mindset. Like these point guards who they are trying, and Chris Paul's a way better scorer than Andre Miller. But he's the last of a dying breed where they get guys easy possessions, right? So you're talking about all the guys on our team who can't create their own shots. They can't really do much offensively. They're not that talented offensively. Chris Paul will get those guys in position. So he is a coach on the floor. Now, his body is breaking down. He is getting older. But if you get him as a stopgap for the last 2 years on his contract, I take him more. And because first of all, you can have Chris Paul here, and you could draft a guy who may not be a top guard who could develop into that, say like a Kara Lewis, right?
I don't want Kara Lewis.
Fair enough. You may not like Kara Lewis, but as a guy who has certain chops, it's like if he develops like this, his ceiling could be this, right? Mm-hmm. Chris Paul is the type of guy. I think SGA would not be on the same trajectory that we all think he will be at.
He's not whack.
He's not whack, bro. SGA is not whack.
I didn't say he was whack. I say he's rag. He's rag. Right?
I'm sorry.
You know, Rudy Gay, I'm gonna just average 20. I'm not
Rudy Gay. Oh my, this Rudy
like one of those.
Okay, so
Westbrook. Westbrook is I'm sorry. I was a Westbrook fan for years. Mm-hmm. It hurt me to be like, yo, this dude is dumb.
Okay,
he's dumb. Physically, he is one of the most. He's still one of the most explosive players I've ever seen. But that's all he predicates his game on. Okay, explosiveness. He does not know the game on a higher level. Besides, let me just drive to the basket. If the defense collapses on me and I can't make the shot, let me dip it off. You know how many times you saw against in the Rocket series, right? He literally had, this is Westbrook for you. Westbrook can hit that shot. Westbrook can hit that the shot off the backboard, right? From near the baseline area, right? He literally had AD on his wheels. Like AD was playing off of him, and he hardly attempted those baseline.
Can I defend Westbrook for a second?
Please, I don't know how you're gonna do that. I don't know.
But you said something funny. You said that he's the guy that's gonna pad his stats, and then when we make the playoffs. So you're already conceding that he's going to lead us to the playoffs. He's the best player in the NBA.
I never said. Hold on. I never said
you said that.
Hold on. I'm saying comparison to CP3 as well, too, dude.
Let me finish my point. And then with regards to CP3, I prefer CP3 over Westbrook as well for contract reason, and I think CP3 is just a better point guard and will make players better. But you said that CP3 makes the other players better. Westbrook does the same thing, but in a different way. The fact that he pushes the pace, it creates a lot of easy transitional opportunities for guys that are not very good in the half court, and they can get easy buckets that way. So
you mean like guys like Oladipo? Oh crap, no, can't use him. Wait, like Sabonis. Oh wait, can't use him. Are you saying
that he can get you to somebody?
Billy Donovan, bro.
Hold up.
That's all I had to say.
All right, hold up.
Come on, man.
Why y'all doing this? All these plays that Westbrook makes better, and they all left them and did way better on another team, right?
Because
not everybody, but
we all agree that
let Chuck finish.
drafting is important.
I'm sorry, Chuck. My bad.
Chuck, you're low. Chuck, you're really low.
Is important, right?
Chuck, your mic is really low.
It's low.
Yeah, you kind of. I guess you got to move closer. Some shit. Yeah, you kind of low.
What about now?
Yeah, better.
All right. We all agree that drafting is important, right? One of the keys to building.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we should
Speak
also
up. Stop
agree.
being scared, Chuck.
I'm yelling.
Yes, Chuck.
I'm yelling. I'm yelling.
You passing your cup real quick, beloved?
So we should agree that this trap.
Hey, turn your mic up, man.
It might be you. I think he's fine now, but it might be you.
It's you, Freeze. Put some clothes on. You can
Freeze trying to show the guns, man. That's Hacksaw Jim Duggan over there, man. Don't mess with him.
Yeah.
I got clothes on, motherfucker.
No, you don't. No, you don't. All right. So we should be able to agree that the recent collapse is due to Frank. It all starts with Frank. Now,
Chuck.
He did not score. He did not play someone who doesn't score in the game.
Let me finish.
You
already agreed with me. Drafting is important. So now,
y'all look at this combo.
KP was a good pick. Good pick. Right? After that, Frank. It started to go downhill. Now, you take Frank. Now you think you don't need a point guard, right? Because you can't point guard. So now you take Knox instead of SGJ. Alexander.
Broken back. Continue.
It's a domino effect. Once you draft bad, it you up until you fix that problem.
That's called the front office doesn't know what they're doing. Because you know why? Even though if you see a guy that you draft, you can always say, look, we go into this draft, SGA is a way, way, way better process than what we have. And you know how your point is proven wrong? Because you wouldn't bring so many free agent point guards to the team. That's the case. You wouldn't bring so many free agent point guards to the team. So that means that they knew that Frank wasn't the answer in their eyes, but they went into that draft. Again, they got convinced by a workout by Knox. Workouts, especially combine workouts, whatever, should never sway you. They should only maybe embolden what you think about it and be like,
So who you would have picked? Who you would have picked?
That year instead of Knox?
Yeah.
You pick SGA.
SGA or Michael Porter Jr.
Listen, let's make this.
That's hindsight. No, that's hindsight. Everybody saying Michael Porter Jr. Yo, this dude literally he could not even go to the. He couldn't go to the workouts because he had debilitating back injury, a back issue, chronic.
I thought he elected not to
get out of bed. So stop. The reason why the Nuggets got him is a luxury pick. The Nuggets were good. It's a luxury pick. Now he looks good. We should pick. No, he was not, bro. He may go into next year. Might not play a game next, bro. You have debilitating, probably genetic back injuries. You never know when it could go out.
His whole family's jacked up. His sister's had like 100 surgeries, and his brother can't even make the league because he's all jacked up. So that's just
So finish your draft point.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Finish.
Let me go back to Frank because you always with the Knox.
Yo, Chuck, can I throw a caveat real quick in before you finish? Now, when they drafted Frank, mind you, Fizdale's a first-time head coach. They didn't draft Frank. Phil Jackson drafted Frank and got fired the next day. And then on top of that, Frank was drafted for the triangle. So let's keep that in mind. But also, one more caveat. Fizdale had the smallest developmental staff.
We're all Knicks fans. We all know this. We all on Twitter. We all Knicks fans. Go
ahead. My fault, Rick. I had my fault, Rick. I'm sorry.
Let me fact check. Fact check. Fizdale was not a first-time head coach.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he was so.
He wasn't even the coach his rookie year.
Damn, he was so horrible. It felt like it. God.
No, just to show you that it's a domino effect. Say instead of Frank, they took Kuzma. You wouldn't have been looking at. That's the same draft. You wouldn't have been looking at Knox that next year.
Knox had a better work. I'd rather Knox than Kuzma.
I'm sorry. It's a different draft.
Different draft. I get your point. I get the domino effect.
Yeah. Oh, so
you took Kuzma.
So your point. So the point. So real quick, Chuck. Your point is if we don't draft Frank, then we would have never drafted Knox. So that's domino. All right. If that's the argument, all right, I can understand. I can't be mad at it.
I need Guillermo back. I need to add, he said he had some doubts about Killian Hayes. I want to have my Killian Hayes discussion with this.
Yo, Ray, it's funny. You've been on the Killian Hayes train for months.
For years.
The only thing I'm scared about with Killian Hayes, right? It's not me and your opinion I'm scared about. It's the blogs, the media, the way it's gonna be like you know how we pick Frank, bro, and Frank from France and blah blah blah. You know how people is gonna take that Killian Hayes pick. That's the only reason why I think like the Knicks is not gonna take Killian Hayes at all.
Killian's from
I think
so Guillermo, you said you had good about Killian Hayes. So let me hear him.
Wait, what? Wait, you want to hear what? You froze.
He said you had doubts about Killian Hayes and he wanted to hear him.
Oh, who has doubts?
He said he asked you. You had doubts about.
I was going to take positives on him. I think there are certain things. One thing is that he depends a lot on that pick and roll. So you need an offense that's going to use that a lot with him. But I forgot where I read this. I think he had a pretty good percentage on he likes the step back jumper. Obviously, he has to get better at that. His jump shot overall. I think he shot 30-some% from three. I might be 36.
I got the numbers for you. He shot 29% from three. The 39.
I take that back. My bad. I might be thinking Kara Lewis. My bad. Who shot 35?
He shot 39% from three in the Euro Cup. It was a 10-game tournament at the end. So he got hot at the end of the season and shot 39%. The weird thing about him is that he shoots the three off the dribble at a very high clip. He shoots it almost like 42%, but catch and shoot is horrible. So most young players, it's the opposite. Most young players, it's easier for them to shoot catch and shoot than shoot off the dribble. Off the dribble shooting, and if you factor the fact that he's almost like a 90% free throw shooter, I'm not concerned about the catch and shoot. And then he didn't have a lot of catch and shoot opportunities because the ball was in his hands predominantly. So off the dribble shooting is very promising. Anybody that could shoot at 18, 40-some% off the dribble.
Yeah, he shot 42% off the 3-point shots off the dribble.
Yeah. Whoa.